Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but a means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy YouTube, you find that a lot of the content you like to watch is very visually engaging and you're several hours into watching videos and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your knitting as you would have liked to. So that is where I come in. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. You can see that things probably look a little bit more clear than they used to, and that's because I'm finally using my new camera, and it is such a joy to have some new technology here in the mix with us. And while I am learning it, just some housekeeping knowledge is that I think I'm in focus. I did a trial just quickly to get an idea of where I was in frame with everything, and I think I'm okay. So I have myself like fully zoomed out. I'm sort of kind of close to the couch here, and I'm thinking it's going to work out. But if this video is a little blurry, hopefully it's only going to be the first time around and not going forward. But until I get the hang of things with this new technology, that might be the case for this episode. But nonetheless, we're here to listen to me talk and knit anyway, instead of watch me, which is the goal of my channel, is to have that background noise while you work on a project. And here it is, Saturday evening. It's about 5:30, and I had done some errands. I've mailed off all of my knitting, so I'm super happy about that. And I have, I took a picture of the blanket before I threw it in the box. I didn't even want to film it. I was just so done with that blanket. So when you see my blocking party video that's coming up very soon, you'll just get an image of the blanket, not a full video of the process and things, because I ended up not blocking it. I didn't have enough time or energy to get the blanket blocked before I mailed it out to my partner's mom and dad. So today, bright and early, I woke up, but I didn't get to the post office until about 11:30, and they closed at noon, and there was a little bit of a line, but I was seen pretty quickly. So all of that's done. Ooh, so happy. And I found out, which is what brings us to today's episode, that my partner's friend did give birth to her child, Risuki, I think is his name, and he was born on the 17th of December, so just a few days ago actually. And I'm in the midst of working on his blanket, which you saw a little bit earlier as in a few episodes ago. And I have successfully continued to work on that, and now that my holiday knitting is complete, I can continue on. So to give you a recap of what that blanket is, it's the Magic Number blanket, and it is a Ravelry pattern by, let me get the creator's name here, Helen Cosgrove-Davies. And as before, here is the picture of what it should look like. And this is a pattern on Ravelry, free to download, and of course the description box has the information for the pattern and where you can get the yarn I'm using if the colorway interests you, or if you perhaps just want to get some really inexpensive yarn for baby knits. So I brought this with me to work. I was able to get a little bit further. I am several rows in before I can start to change my color. And so I just finished row 14 yesterday, and I have 6 more rows of this pretty, like, I think of it like a light teal seafoam green, but the colorway itself isn't described on the packaging, but of course the description box has the colorway description. So this is just knitting in a KFB. To give you a little bit of a close-up again, we have this KFB, we're knitting 3 KFB across until we get to 120 stitches, and then that's when we can change our color. And my middle color is another cream, kind of like the picture. So I have this, I think it's called Champagne White on the website, so I'm using this one as my middle. And then I have just a slightly lighter, like a seafoamy green color. That's going to be my third color in this pattern. So I'm hoping he's a tiny one, hoping that I can get this blanket finished in the next week or so. I'll be off of work. I have to go in on Monday, but then we'll be closed until after New Year, so I had some plans to try to hang out with friends and things like that, but right now I'm just going to play it by ear. My partner did get me this tripod that I'm using too, which is new, and our goal is to do some cleaning. They'll be off longer than, well no, I'll be off longer than them, but they're off Monday, and they really just wanted to kind of freshen up things, do some reorganizing, and get things kind of just looking different around here. So I'm being forced to join them in that. And it's good to clean, I agree, but we do have varying viewpoints about what it means to clean and what it means to organize our spaces. I'm definitely, we're hobbyists in our own right, in different ways, but our ideas of how do we keep our items stored, what do we utilize on the daily, and things like that sometimes don't always mesh. So let me know in the comments if you have a partner, and if you do, if you both have different ideas about housekeeping and storage and organization, and are you both relatively neat? Are either of you cluttered? Do you have to remind people to be neat and tidy? Or are you the one who's always being reminded to be neat and tidy? I'd be curious to see what kind of dynamics there are out there besides my own. And I want to let you guys know that this footage you'll see often, you know, I'm a little long-winded when it comes to these things, but this camera only lets me shoot video for 29 minutes and some 30 odd seconds. So depending on how long I go, you may start seeing shorter videos from me, or you may see some that are spliced together so that I can have more than one piece of footage and the same video that I upload to YouTube. And my partner clued me in that there is this new platform called Floatplane, I believe. I'm going to look into it a little more while I'm on vacation, but I will likely, if it seems like it's feasible, begin to upload there as well. And once I do, I'll provide you guys with that information, so if you're kind of getting tired of the whole YouTube thing, you would be able to find me on that platform as well. But it sounds like it's still up and coming, and it's kind of like YouTube alternative, which I think is always worth kind of getting my voice out there to other audience members. You know, I have an Instagram, so that targets people who may not or may want to supplement their YouTube with some images. I don't do any stories or any videos on there, but just little snapshots of my life and my knitting and everything that's interesting to me that I want to capture. And most of it's my cats, honestly. My cats and knitting and just little bits and pieces here and there of what's going on. And we had a holiday party at my job on Friday. It was a ghost town. I mean, things are kind of winding down for us, and I had like a few people who are working over the winter time so that we still are productive, but we don't have as crazy as a rush as we do right at the end of the year, so things just get a little bit quiet. And I went to this holiday party, and we were doing a silent auction to give back to charity, and I bid on a bunch of different stuff. And one particular thing I wanted probably more than anything was, one, there was this cat bed holiday package. It had like a blanket, some toys, some treats, some collars and things, and just all things cute that a cat would enjoy, or an owner would enjoy giving to their cat. And I was outbid by Like $5. Like the bids were increments of 5. The value was 60 and, or no, yeah, the value was 70, I think. And I had bid 60 as my highest bid, and then somebody outbid me $65. And then I was like, okay, that's it. But I did win this auction for this coffee gift basket. So it has some mugs, I think a tumbler or two, obviously some coffee, and I think some chocolates and cookies that are like coffee flavored or something like that. So I'm pretty excited to bust that out. It's still in the cellophane that it came in, but because I woke up early this morning to go to the post office and get ready for the day, I didn't have coffee, so I didn't open it up and use it yet. But hopefully tomorrow, Sunday morning when I wake up, I'll be able to try that out. I'm just trying to think of what am I going to do on Monday. Well, probably stay late. There's some stuff I have to work on, but it'll be quiet, so I'm happy about that. And I have a new planner that I need to bust out so I can start documenting all of the things I have going on. And I have right now like a work calendar and a personal calendar, and I found that like I would take my personal calendar with me all the time everywhere, and I'd leave my work calendar at work. And I noticed over the years that when something personal would come up and I would need to check if I had any conflicts work related, I wouldn't know at the time. So this upcoming 2020 year, I am planning on just having one planner for both work and pleasure, and then see how that goes as far as like staying as organized as I can be between my two commitments. And I'm hoping, because I like to buy like cutesy planners and pens and things, that I'll be more motivated to keep track of all of that. Because I have like my calendar at work, I have my electronic calendar, and then I have my paper calendars. I have several calendars where I keep track of different things. And, ooh, it was on Instagram. I saw this. I forget who she is, but I follow a lot of hobbyist knitters and professional knitters. And one of them had purchased this knitter's planner, and I thought that was so cute. Like, I don't nearly have as many projects that I need to plan for, and I have some notebooks that I've just been scribbling down different projects that I was working on from over the years. Or I act like I had a lot of projects. Actually, it was just this last holiday season where at the beginning of the year of 2019 I wrote down every single project that I wanted to work on, what pattern it was, how much yarn I needed, where I was going to get the yarn, how much the yarn was going to cost, so that I could keep track of all my things. But I hadn't revisited it since I started this channel, honestly. Once I started knitting with you guys, I just kind of had this as my timetable and didn't need to rely on my notebook as much anymore. So with that lesson of having too much on my plate and not being able to finish it all, and the thoughts of going forward for next year without as many big holiday projects, I don't know if I'll need a planner yet. It's just something cute that I would buy and maybe use a couple times. So I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, for that reason, that I don't know if I'll use it enough. But let me know, do you have a planner or project guide for your knitting projects? I'd be curious to know. And I'm just going to squint over here, trying to keep track of how much time I've spent, because I figure if it's anything like when I'm filming with my phone, it's just going to cut me off and tell me I'm done. And then I'll have like some mid-sentence thing going on where I'll have this long story and I won't want to start it over again, and I'll just start with a new subject when I get back to filming, and I don't want to do that this time. But I'm so excited to finish with this project. And yesterday when I got home from work, I saw my 4th grade teacher. If you had watched some of my other videos, you know I mentioned that I keep in touch with my 4th grade teacher. We write to each other, and I was way overdue to write her a letter. Like, I needed to write her a letter probably back in October, because I was going to tell her about my crazy work schedule that I had in the beginning of the fall, and all of these things that were happening at work and where I was at this point in my life, just to update her since my last letter. And I was like, okay, when I'm finished wrapping and boxing up the knits that I have to mail off for Saturday morning, I'll write her a letter. And because I was still cutting some of the loose bits off of the blanket, and I had got home late, cooked dinner late, and everything like that, I was just way behind before I went to my volunteer thing. So I ended up not writing her a letter then, but I noticed when I got home that she mailed me something, and it's a Christmas gift. And I'm so excited to open it on Christmas, but I won't now. So her letter's going to be even later, because I'll, of course, say thank you for whatever it is I have in here. But she's also somebody I'm knitting a blanket for. But I want to make sure I get this baby one out of the way, because babies grow like weeds. And I don't know how fast he'll grow before I get it done. And I want to make sure he gets to be wrapped in it, or just have it in his crib until he is too big for it. So I want to get a lot of use out of this blanket first. And then after that, my partner's other friend, like I mentioned, is having a girl, and I have the yarn for that one too. So it's going to be a blanket knitting kind of winter season, I think. But I'm so glad that I got my holiday stuff done. It was getting close. I was getting a little worried. I was getting real worried, honestly. Because that blanket, the big one, had taken me so long. And my partner, so my partner wanted us to do our gifts early because they knew what I was getting them. We talked about it, and so I got them a gamepad for their computer, and they asked me what I wanted, so I sent them a whole wish list full of things. And one thing on my wish list was some more knit blockers. So I have them, and they're right here. So I have more knit blockers. Oh, this is probably blurry. Yeah, this camera lens doesn't autofocus, but they're just the Knitter's Pride knit blockers like the ones I have before, but instead of the rainbow ones or the ones that are designed for breast cancer awareness, these are just the plain white ones that they have. All the same, they all do the same thing. I'm happy. I can't wait, because the more I have, the more I can just block stuff quickly. And speaking of blocking, Slow Moving Jenny is somebody I follow on Instagram, and she had mentioned that she does not block her socks. She just wears them. As soon as she's done, she puts them on. So I had knit, if you guys watched my Ray Light socks videos, I had attempted to make some socks for a gift and just bombed, completely bombed. So I'm actually, my pants are a little tight. I can't even lift my leg up to show you guys, but I'm wearing them right now because I ended up saying, you know what, these look horrible. I don't want to give these to anybody because I messed up. So I kept them for myself, and I wore them today, and they're nice. Ooh, they're so nice. And yesterday when I was at work, I wore my cozy armchair socks that I knit for myself the first time I knit that pattern. And the second time I knit that pattern was for my brother, and those were the green socks that I showed you guys. But since those were acrylic, the ones I made for myself, they got really hot, and I think I won't do that anymore. Though I did just buy some acrylic yarn. If I do make any more socks, they'll just be for me because I don't think they wear as well as like a wool or cotton blend or something like that. And you guys are probably agreeing too that acrylic might not be the best yarn for socks. I mean, they'll hold up very well, but as far as breathability, not so much. Not so much. But yes, I'm excited. I think if I just keep at this one, I'm also working on my friend's hat, the chroma, not the chroma, that was the yarn that was used in the example, the swoop beanie. I'm working on that one downstairs now, so this is a race for time because I do want to meet up with my friend to give her the hat and scarf. And the scarf, by the way, is this one here. I already blocked it, and I just left it folded up because I needed to use something, and it was sitting on top. But her boyfriend, I made him a sweater last year, and I'm thinking, what can I make? I could probably whip him up a hat too really fast, but I have to rummage through my bulky weight yarn because when I say fast, I want it to be like in the round, really quick. Like, I don't want to think about weaving in or seaming up anything. I just want it to be a nice quick hat for him. So I think I have enough yarn to do something like that, but I have to check. But hers comes first because her set's just about finished. And then when I'm done reorganizing my living space, I'll probably revisit a hat for him. But I'll check out Ravelry, see what I can find. So I don't have a pattern that's simple, that's bulky weight, just in my possession right now. Besides hers. So and I have to go to the store. I'm trying to think of what I want to make for dinner for holiday. I want it to be special, but it's not the same as when I'm back home with my family. Their Christmas dinner it's nothing like it. But yes, in the next few days, I will probably just be a crazy woman running around. Now that my commitment to knitting isn't as severe, I can kind of focus on some other things, like my well-being and sleep and, you know, getting things ready to just lounge about and enjoy the holiday. So we're coming to the end of my row. So nice. This is knitting up so quick. I love it. I see why people like doing baby stuff because it's small. It doesn't take as much time. Of course, unless you're doing a lot of cabling or ferrule or some crazy color work stuff, then of course it would probably take longer. But essentially, it's a lot faster than doing it for a grown-up body. Alright, make sure I keep track there. So here we have a point. So the blanket, if doing it the right way, this is going to be the side that you see. We have our corner. We're going to keep knitting till it gets to the tallest point, and then we'll start our decreasing to get to the other point. But so far so good. And yes, we are toward the end of the video length, so I'll cut it short today. See how I feel about it, see how you guys feel about it, and we have several other days. Since I actually don't have a lot of weekday commitments, since I won't have to be at work besides Monday, I plan to do some more filming with you guys. And like any other time I have vacation, just keep it going with other projects I have, let you know my progress, and it might be this one again. Not too sure. There could be a lot that happens in the next 2 to 3 days, but in the meantime, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day, and I do appreciate you so much for stopping by here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.